lane, not just an early gank or two. That was it, and which is something you don't see really a whole lot of from Karthus. But hold that thought though, because Champ Select is up. We are in this, and Dynamics on blue side.
Oh, well, that's always the winning side, of course. Oh, except for the previous game. That's right. But it was interesting. I think one of the issues with the Karthus is that he struggled to get into the back line, and that's, that really is key. He needed to be able to get the damage into the back line, but Orianna was able to separate him from her team. The Orianna ultimate, every single fight almost, would be used primarily to shut down Karthus. So I'm curious what Mandatory Cloud's going to run as a result. We see all these bans, getting rid of the Katarina, the Rengar as well. So, now that Dynamic has the first pick, keeping that Katarina out, Orianna. So they don't want to see any of their team, and they ban out the Rengar themselves because they know that Dynamic has the first pick.
Blitzcrank, Olaf, and Jace. So Olaf, Blitzcrank, and Lee Sin are now open for the picking here on this second game. And there it is, the Blitzcrank going to be the first pick up from Dynamic. And we've mentioned it before, the trademark Olaf from Nintendo is open. Probably going to be picked up next. It's nothing too crazy to expect.
Yeah.
Like, if it's open, of course he's gonna take him.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be a really strong pick for them.
Yeah.
They have to decide, if they want to grab the Sona now, or if they're a little bit concerned about the Sona versus Blitz since the changes, or if they want to grab a different support. So I think that's the decision that they're making right now.
They could also take Olaf straight out from under Dynamic because they still don't want Dynamic to have him. And they just need to fit other things in their bans. Katarina, Rengar, and Orianna. Could be a jungle Olaf, could be more than likely a top Olaf, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I know Cruiser, he does play Olaf, and that's definitely going to be a nice option for him. As a result, Zion, I'm kind of curious who he would lane against Olaf. If he thinks he could lane AD Nidalee, I don't know if Olaf's maybe a little bit too tanky for Nidalee to go against, or if he wants to run like an Aurelia. Aurelia, tends to be a common one against Nidalee, but they go ahead and grab the Corki. That's going to be, pretty common, but the Fiddlesticks, that would be an interesting one. I'd be curious to see if he's actually going to run it. Switching over to the Cho makes a little bit more sense.
It does, Nintendo, with the mini troll. This is like, I'm totally going to go Fiddlesticks, don't worry about it. But
though honestly, Cho'Gath's kind of a passive jungler compared with what we've seen a lot of in the past from Olaf. He's going to be able to clear pretty effectively, but Olaf, he likes junglers that are just incredibly fast and good at tower diving. Cho's pretty good at tower diving, actually. So, maybe that does kind of fit his play style, particularly if they do a lane swap. That's Cho's actually a really common champion for those tower dives when you have a lane swap 1v2, and then you bring the jungler in as well. Now they kind of have to decide where they want to go. Lee Sin is open. I think they might decide to give Xmithy that Lee Sin in the jungle, have Olaf in that top lane, and I don't know, see what they can combo with it. Maybe like a Diana or something.
There's still the matter of the mids. No mids have quite been picked yet. Orianna, of course, banned, and Karthus more than likely not going to be seeing play here again, considering how little he was involved with game number 1. Lulu, more than likely going to be support here for Mono.Ferus. Going to be getting some great damage down to help out the Ezreal. Last second, there is the Aurelia. So Aurelia top lane, Olaf jungle.
Olaf.
So mid going to be the last pick for Mono.Ferus. So there's plenty of options available. It's just a matter of what Dynamic's going to run with, and Paradox will just cycling through his options, hitting that random button best he can.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because Aurelia would be a common matchup against the Olaf, so I thought that maybe Zion Spartan would take the Aurelia, but they kind of snatch it from under them.
Let's see here. What other options are there available?
Well, they have their support, so they need the top and the mid. Jace is down, Shen. They could go with like a Jax. Yeah, that would be a potential thing. They could. I don't know if Paradoxical actually plays Zillion. I don't know. He plays Ahri. It's been a while since we've seen him play Ahri.
There's plenty of options. Anivia and Darius, it could work. I mean, Anivia is just a great all-around mid. Plenty of you have the wall, you have the slows and the suns. Don't mash me. Don't be trolling me. Get rid. Don't be picking that Heimer on me. Don't be doing it. Don't be doing it. There's the Jax. Jax fits a lot better in that top lane up against the Aurelia. As much as I would love to see Heimerdinger in that top lane go up against Aurelia, Jax makes sense. Jax definitely makes sense here.
Yeah, it is a really strong pick. You know, Jax has that late game as the lane progresses. Earlier starts off with an advantage, but Jax is able to take over that a little bit. So, you know, they want to have, it gives them a nice split push as well. They can, you know, kind of take advantage of that. Zion's part, he does split push a lot, pretty effectively. They probably won't lane swap because Jax would kind of suck in the lane swap.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. We'll see where they go with that. Going Gragas, that's not one we've seen for a while, but it's one that we've seen, I don't know, a lot of play from in the past from a lot of people like Mandatory Cloud, and in particular, I'd be interested to see if there's any unusual APs he's been working on. But Gragas, he has the range to do well against Anivia. You know, Diana would kind of struggle against Anivia. You could maybe use her, but probably not. So
yeah, because Diana, you would go in, you would commit yourself to the fight, and you're stunned.
Yeah.
And you're behind a wall, and you're slowed, and now you're dead. That'd be a most unfortunate situation. But Gragas, at the very least, he has the barrels. He can safely farm. He can double on back, grab the wraiths too, and also for that ultimate knock someone out of position. Because I really do not want to be. If I were at Mono.Ferus, I really would not want to be engaging just front on straight at Dynamics team right now. At the very least, get the barrel, front load some damage, separate them out a little bit, make them scatter.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good point. I mean, Gragas, he's going to be able to wear them down a little bit. I think they're a little bit tanky enough that they shouldn't have to worry about the Gragas barrels. Usually you want to play Gragas against kind of a squishier team. So it's not like the poke is going to be a GG against them, but he still could soften up that line a little bit and then allow Olaf and Aurelia, who both have pretty high base damage and are generally pretty tanky early on, to try and take control of that fight. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. They have a unusual team. It's not something you see. It's not an AOE combo team.
Yeah.
They have Olaf and Aurelia, who are both going to just try and dive into that back line and just overrun their opponents. I think the big advantage to their team is that it's really strong in small fights, and it's really strong early on in the game. Olaf in particular, he's going to be, I think they're really going to try and pressure Dynamic before those main fights hit, because I think once they hit those main team fights, Dynamic's going to have such a serious advantage over Mono that Mono's not going to be able to be as effective in those situations. Anivia is going to be able to shut down a lot of their damage. They have the Corki and the Jax that's going to have a lot of late game presence.
This is Xsmithy's page for Jungle Olaf, and this is a little unusual.
All the gold.
All the gold.
Yeah, We'll see. The utility is interesting. It's not going to allow him to tower dive as effectively, but I think it might be more of a farm Olaf build.
Huh.
It's going to allow him to clear minion waves very quickly. The movement speed in particular, it's going to make him very effective at counter jungling. But
he's got tons of CDR too.
Right. So that's going to be very strong, but missing out on the resistances, it means he's not going to be quite as tanky as he would like to be. So I'm curious if he might just be using this jungle build in order to passively farm and just try and go for map control and not really fight much early on. That's kind of an interesting situation. So he is going to be pretty squishy, but I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see.
Well, it's dangerous to run that up against someone like a team like Dynamic and someone as such an aggressive play style coming in from someone like Nintendo. He's going in for full defense. He's 0-21 and 9, and I'm wondering any advantage Dynamic gets, they're probably going to feel confident enough where they can frequently invade. And at which point, if they do get that advantage, Xsmithy's game plan is going to go to crap.
Yeah, no, that's. I think that they probably will go for a level 1 at the very least on Dynamic. Their level 1 is really devastating. They can steal the red potentially. I think really a lot of Mono's game plan comes down to how they can deal with that. If they get out some early ward coverage in the bot jungle for blue and try and ward around the red, maybe go for an aggressive invade themselves. They might want to invade their red just to prevent Dynamic from getting a free invasion. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they run it. There's, it's a strong bot lane that we've seen in the past, but it's not strong enough to really bully around anyone. They could go for a lane swap. I think that Aurelia, she's not the best, but once she hits level 6, she's going to be able to AoE clear. And at the very least, she doesn't need as much farm as Jax. She just needs a couple of items, a small handful, and then she's going to be tanky enough to be able to dive into that back line. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see because I'm not really seeing what Mono's vision is with this. They have a strong pushing team, so they can keep all the lanes pushed in order to try and roam some. I think that's what they're going for. They're going to try and just farm, keep the lanes pushed in order to move around as a team and pick up early fights.
Yeah. So how early then do you think we might be able to expect that roam? And will it be like a full 5 roam or just like a small
it's
little
small contingencies
clump?
at a time. Yeah, small lanes. I mean, it'll just be I think Mono looking to push up to the tower and then maybe leave top lane and then go down to mid. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think that Mono has to recognize that Dynamic greatly surpasses them in the late game potential. Gragas falls off a little bit. Olaf and Aurelia are both incredibly powerful.
We've seen Ezreal fall off.
But Ezreal falls off a little bit as well compared with some of the other ADs. And I think just the fact that they have so much CC to protect for both Corki and Jax should mean that Dynamic will be at an advantage there. But we'll have to see. I might be underestimating their team fighting potential. I think that Mono's strength is going to be early in the game, though, particularly once Gragas hits 6 and then on, where he can try and pick up some kills. They really need to keep the blue off of Anivia.
Yes.
So that's gonna, if they can do that, then Anivia won't be able to stall quite as effectively. And so that's partially what Xmithy's gonna try and do with that fast jungling build.
Xmithy throws a ward down in defense as he runs. Just needs to get on out of there. It is Xmithy. Despite the fact that the build he went, boots 1 pot, could be a bit of a difficult jungle clear.
I wonder if that's a glitch though, because that's actually really interesting if that's legitimately what he's going. It seems like that's what he's going for.
It's boots 1 pot, and considering that he has very little in like the defensive,
I've never seen this build before. I'm really interested to see what he's going to be doing. I mean, it means that he's looking to rush something. The Pixel, he might go for this. Actually, the flash over the Flash Frost, Cruiser Bruiser just barely surviving there. If Pixel had honestly thrown off the Blitzcrank hook, a lot of times that's a blind hook in that situation. He probably would have gotten the kill.
This invade just on its own. Dynamic doesn't even really need any kills here. Just wreck the jungle, and this could be more enough to ruin all of Xmithy's plans for a passive farming jungle just on its own. And even then, he's going to have a rough start. 1 pot in boots. He doesn't have cloth armor. He's building nothing in a defensive tree on the masteries. He might actually have to back before he ever takes both buffs.
Zion Spartan taking the blue Wraith from Nintendo, not that big of a concern, but that'll help him out in that top lane. They are going for the red. The early ward coverage from Lulu, from Muff and Cutie, it's able to protect them some, so they have vision both for the top and for the mid lane. And Xmithy, he is going to grab that blue. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, are they going to go down for an invade? It seems like they are. Xmithy, he's coming down. He wants to see if he can maybe take this red in response.
Pixel hiding in the, dipping in and out of the brush, looking for the hook, but not gonna get it. And there is Xmithy going on down, aggressive into enemy red.
No wards for Mono, so he knows he's safe.
He's fine. He's good. There are pings though.
Cho's coming down. Actually, he might not be safe.
Bad. Nintendo. He wants to see what's up. He's going to notice that his red is not quite there. Throw down the rupture, something, anything. Can you find him? But no, Olaf has already gotten it, just barely. Xmithy just getting out in the nick of time.
Wow, really fast clear. Wow. Olaf is an incredibly fast jungler. He took advantage of that. He stole the blue Wraith as well, so a nice little advantage there. Wow. And already, Xmithy is actually taking some control over this jungle.
I was worried.
Yeah.
Now some of my reliefs
fears are alleviated.
Some of my fears are alleviated, but still, this is first clear. First clear is always the roughest, but this is not going to be a very tanky Olaf to start still, even after a few items. So I'm still wondering how effective he's going to be in ganks, and how effective he's going to go into mid game, into late game, if at all.
Yeah, it seems like he's clearing while maintaining his HP, which is usually kind of difficult for him. But he actually doesn't seem to have much of an issue there. You do get the lifesteal off of the smite when you use your W, so it gives you spell vamp as well. So that kind of helps Olaf keep his health high. But kind of an interesting situation. Cruiser, he's pushed under his tower. Shogath not looking for a gank, just keeping an eye on if Olaf's going to be coming up in that top lane. But already you see some of the pressure that Xmithy is putting on them, and Xmithy's an incredibly aggressive jungler. And so Nintendo, he kind of has to respond now.
And Science Spartan actually recalling into Tribrush. Nintendo, knowing he's not going to get any opportunities up there, does decide to go back into the jungle. What is Jackson be buying? Ninja Tabby, great item up against that early Aurelia. And also grabbing a mana potion too, looking for a little bit of harass, looking to jump a little more frequently than he normally would. Big Smithy resuming in the jungle, grabbing up those wraiths. You also look at the creep farm very early on, and things seem to be relatively even, but you actually see Big Smithy's farming up significantly better than Nintendo is right now.
Yeah, no, he has a nice early lead. That's the hope. In the end, he's actually pretty close. Pixel trying to get that hook off, and he does go and check the wolves. They aren't there, so he will back off for a second. But just seeing what he can take, he's looking for whatever advantages he can grab. No real ganking opportunities in the mid lane. Top lane should be safe as well with that ward, but who knows? He's close enough. If he can get in there before the ward spots him, he actually could run up right on top of Jax.
He's just barely in vision. Just barely in. He thinks he's out of vision, but he's not actually. But he's going to still come on up, try his luck anyway. Zion Spartan, he is wary and just chilling in the middle of the lane, making sure he does not drop his weapon. That'd be bad. Jax, don't drop your stuff.
Well, it's just a lamppost, so you can grab a blade of grass or something and be okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just grabs a minion and just starts smacking people with it. That'd be ideal. Hook down, Muffin Cutie gonna be popped up. A little bit of damage from Don't Match, but he does have to Valkyrie.
Oh, Nian's gonna get this.
He's got the cleanse on up too. And first blood, actually, credit gonna be going to Muffin Cutie. Pixel needs to GTFO though. His flash is still up, but he's gonna decide to use it. He just very carefully dashing on back to tower. He does not want to blow the flash too early just in case he needs that thing later. But great kill down bot lane for the first blood
and
from
the cleanse
and Nian.
The cleanse on Ezreal, clearing out the exhaust in order to be able to pick up that kill.
Very well done.
Just zoning Corki back, and it seemed like it originally started where Muffin Cutie and Pixel B, or Mashme and Pixel B in a good situation. Zion Spartan being baited out. He uses the stun. Xsmithy's going to come now. He has the undertow, the jump back. He's going for it, but can't quite pick it up. Zion Spartan pretty low.
Xsmithy was waiting. He was waiting for Jax to use the leap strike to get rid of his escape. But recognizing that he's not going to use it, he's going to be walking into bush anyway. He's like, well, might as well engage. And then there's the flash and the leap strike, and Zion Spartan is out of there.
Cho is surrounding the end, though. He's really low. He uses his arcane shift. It's not going to be enough. Nintendo has him cut off. He's going to go down. He will have his flash. Where's the rupture? He actually dodges it. He's trying all he can, but there's the hook.
No.
He does go down. Pixel actually taking the kill away from Corki there.
That is Pixel. He does have a hook, and he's not afraid to use it. Zion Spartan defending this 2v1 push. Xsmithy getting a little bit of damage onto the tower, but not a whole lot. But the minion wave is cleared. He cannot stay there anymore. Cruiser is level 6, does have the ultimate up, but he's going to choose to back just to see what he can buy. He's got a decent amount of gold on him. He's got about 1,100. We will see what he picks up, but Zion Spartan is like, no, you cannot leave. Not just yet. I am not done with you. He's looking for exchange, forcing the flash out from Cruiser, and then he's looking for the re-engage, but too much distance has been cleared. But Xsmithy is looking to come back in, throw down an axe or two, but Cruiser may actually go down here, and the ignite is actually going to be enough. Zion Spartan with a great kill, and now Nintendo on the back end.
Yeah, plenty of damage. He knows, he saw Xsmithy in the ward, so he knew exactly how he could push it. And having the ignite still up, Cruiser just baiting a little bit too hard, so he does go down. Cho'Gath also, with the backup, in case Xsmithy tried to tower dive, he almost certainly would have gone down. But I don't know, early gold leads for Mono, despite the fact that Dynamic is up 2-1. And part of it comes from Gragas getting that gold pretend early on, and he's able to start farming from those wraiths.
Yep. So, Mandatory Cloud, he recognizes he's a little bit in the lead, but we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot about DFG. He's actually throwing down the ult just to get the minion
so he's
clear.
just planning on recalling now.
Yeah, he wants to clear the wave. He just wants to get out of there. Actually, Ezreal can do the same thing when Yen hits 6. Just clear the wave, get out back. He'll be fine. He'll be safe. Xsmithy also farming up. So we talked a little bit before about DFG. I've seen it sometimes on Gragas. Yes, he does get you very up close and personal when he slams on in. Possibility here, despite the nerf.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'd be unusual, I think, because I don't think you get enough from the DFG at this point, especially for Gragas. He really needs a lot of damage in order to be effective, and I mean his base is really high, but I don't know if it's going to be enough with the new DFG. We'll see though. It looks like he's actually building it in the end, trying to chase down Don't Mash Me. He's really low, almost going down, and he actually uses the ultimate, try to pick up the kill, can't quite grab it, but an early advantage in that bottom lane. They're able to bully them around some, so Ezreal's still doing really well despite the nerfs.
Cruiser, though, using the ultimate just to keep the wave off. He wants to pick up some of that farm, but Zion Spartan is actually doing pretty well there.
Oh, don't get hooked over the wall.
Oh, Muffin Cutie, you're in a bad spot, but there's Nintendo with the silence. There's a hook. Muffin Cutie gets pulled in, knocked up, but uses the ultimate on himself just to stay alive. Mashpee can't get the kill. No, you cannot. Here's Nien with the shift over the wall, wants to get the kill down on the Pixel, but Nintendo throwing down the Rupture and Flash to follow just to clear some distance. Pixel and Nintendo going to be making it a tower, but yeah, Don't Mash Me is not so lucky.
But they should be able to grab the dragon off of this. Xmithie has plenty of damage, Nien as well, so they're going to be able to get that for free. And it was a really nice turnaround for them. I thought Muffin Cutie was going to go down, but he barely got off the ultimate. The exhaust on the Corki, it was just enough. Blitzcrank and Cho'Gath don't have a lot of damage early on, outside of their abilities. So they're able to back them off, and then Cho, fortunately able to kite with his Rupture, but that's still a nice little gold lead for them that'll help Cruiser up in that top lane, even though he's a little bit behind Jax right now. He's trying to exchange damage underneath this turret, and Anivia gets the blues. So, the late blue, Cho'Gath, he did start over on the enemy red side, getting that initial invade, but they're not able to keep the blue off of Paradoxical, so it's going to be an even mid lane.
Mandatory Cloud also picking up the blue on his side too, so both in the mids got their mana, and they know how to spend it. Ice cubes and barrels. And it's Friday, too. Damn, we should probably go to the bar after this, too. It's making me thirsty.
Oh, definitely.
And Mandatory Cloud, he's putting down some wards defensively. He just wants to make sure that no funny business is going to be going on over by his wraiths. Quick damage from Para before Mandatory Cloud can actually return back to his towers. Like, no, you want your wraiths? Nah,
that was dangerous, though.
That was dangerous.
Paradoxical almost taking him down, but quick thinking from Mandatory Cloud to body slay him past the Flash Frost so that it actually didn't hit him. Cho'Gath is sitting mid, though. It's still a dangerous spot. He will be able to range farm, though.
Muffin Cutie.
Yep.
With the picks, actually he's getting the Glitterlance with the extra range on both members of Dynamic here in the bottom.
The health, it's a little bit more effective. Xmithie, though, running down. He catches out Nintendo. He's going to throw off the slow. There's the ultimate as well. Xmithie's very low, though. He has to watch out. A Feast could maybe take him down. The body slam, they pick up the kill onto Nintendo. They're able to back out of there. And already a nice jungling advantage. I mean, the entire game, Xmithie's been everywhere. He's been really pressuring them a lot, and he has the double gold pretends already. So does Cho'Gath. But also building that longsword to maybe get a brutalizer.
Double GP10s plus the Master 2 for a little bit extra income. But Pixel getting a little bit too far deep. He's getting chunked out huge right now, but there is the ult from Lou to help keep him alive. Muffin Cutie sticking it out, does get the kill onto the Blitzcrank.
It's interesting. He keeps baiting them in with himself and then ulting rather than kind of transitioning with Ezreal, because he doesn't want to get Ezreal low. He knows that as long as Ezreal's high, they'll be able to make something happen. So, even if he exchanges AD carry for support, that's a win for them. But it's building into a nice gold lead, 30 CS ahead of Corki, along with, a couple of kills, though the kills are going on the Muffin Cutie. But it's still a nice advantage. And
kill's a kill.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, they're already 3K ahead, actually almost 4K ahead, and they're pushing down the bot turret too. If they take that, that's a 5K advantage.
There it is.
And it doesn't seem like a lot. It's just 4-2 right now, but just the constant pushing, the constant pressure, and they've built themselves up a 5K gold lead.
Yeah, plus the objectives, plus you have all the investment in GP10s across many of the lanes.
Gragas coming up top on Zion Spartan. Cruiser positioning himself. He gets the stun, the body slam. There's going to be a Gragas barrel coming any second. Now he hits him away.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucks. That is very unfortunate. Zion Spartan going to be actually leaving in double-digit health.
Oh, Mandatory Cloud.
Thanks for the assist, dude. Thank you. It happens sometimes. Let's face it. It happens. Not every Gragas barrel can hit its mark. Not every Sona ult can land on everybody. And sometimes you knock people away. Matter of life.
Yeah, but the more I'm thinking about it, I'm curious where he's going to build. They are going for this push down mid. He can clear out minion waves pretty easily. That's one of the big strengths of Gragas still, is not just his pushing power, but the fact that when you're pushing, you can zone off an enemy team very effectively. So he's great on a team when you're trying to poke down turrets. Anivia usually can stall any push, but all you have to do is throw a Gragas barrel under or just knock her back.
Wow.
Muffin Cutie, a hook, the Flash Frost, he gets the flash out of there, so he's able to back off. But, really early pressure from Mono right now.
There's one thing I'm realizing about Dynamic's team right now, too, is that all three lanes, they're very good at creep wave clearing. And Anivia's fantastic at it innately. Jax
Oh, mashMe caught out of position with the Lulu. They should take him down.
He got in the end. He does get the pop-up help with the Lulu, but he does actually make it on over to the side and should actually be fine. But you do have Blitzcrank now coming on in.
So go back to what you're saying.
Yes, wave clearing is really good on Dynamic.
Yes.
You got Anivia, just the ultimate was take a wave out like it's nothing.
Cho'Gath,
Corki, Jax. I mean, Jax can just split push all day if he's given the opportunity.
Yeah, well, it's the split pushing in particular is really strong. He can drop turrets quickly. Wave clearing, he's single target, but he is pretty quick. So, I mean, it allows them to, keep pushing back against Mono. So they recognize that Mono's going to constantly try and just push on them. It allows them to cancel out some of those pushes. It allows Jax in particular to try and drop turrets if Aurelia ever leaves lane. So Aurelia is kind of forced to be up there. Even though it is even so far, Jax has a slight advantage with that kill.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they all start grouping. Mandatory Cloud, he goes for the body slam ultimate, can't quite get it. The flash from Paradoxical, quick reaction time, recognizing the impending situation.
He may be hurt, but he will live. And now that's the Mandatory Cloud at level 11, so that's level 2 in the ult. The cooldown is shorter, the damage is bigger, and it's going to come out a lot more often. Pixel, hook back, will not be getting anyone, still chasing in the bush, but that Muffin Kitty, he's a threat right now. Now roaming around with the rest of the team, one Glitter Lance may be enough to get this little chain even more CC and potential death.
Yeah, no, it's pretty close. I mean, the chasing power for Lulu is pretty strong. It's the only issue with Lulu is that she doesn't have the great escaping power. Mandatory Cloud.
I did not know Oktoberfest Gragas did that. No, Mandatory Cloud, go back. I want to hear your song.
Does he sing when he's recalling?
There's like accordions and stuff that actually go off when you. I did not know that.
Oh, that's fancy.
That is fancy.
And he does grab a blue, so he's going to be able to continue to farm against Nivea. Nivea has a slight advantage, but pretty safe. All right, I'll allow it. But Paradoxical coming up top. Cruiser, he actually just barely dodges it. He goes down anyway. Zion Spartan able to take him down.
Very well done.
Paradoxical tanking the turret for him, but that's a key to go for the dragon. So, you have to know that Cruiser, he's fine with going down, recognizing that he gave his team a dragon. So Paradoxical coming up top, it opens up the dragon for them. If they don't take it, though, that would be dangerous. Like Smithy, he's getting kind of low, and
don't reset.
I don't know if they're going to take it.
Do not reset that dragon. That's the last thing you want right now. Nintendo looking for the rupture down onto the end.
Corki's coming up as well.
Corki coming on in, and the dragon will actually fully reset.
Wow, so that's a full-on gain for Dynamic. They get the turret and no dragon.
Wow, not too bad. Not too bad. Diendo still throwing down some Mystic shots. He got the rocket on up through the ramp just to see if he still can't get a quick shot onto anybody. And Nivea also making her way down. But there's Mandatory Cloud with the barrel. Pixel brought down very low. Nice flash just to get out of there. Good reaction times on Dynamic today.
Yeah, Dynamic really doing a nice job to keep away from that Gragas pressure and just playing along with Mono. Mono, getting slight gold leads through some farm, primarily on Corki, taking the first dragon as well. But otherwise, it really is a almost dead even game. Pixel does have to watch out. Cruiser just barely not getting hooked there, and Zion Spartan's down here as well. Smithy coming down, they should have the position to take this dragon, but they're going to have to watch out because Dynamic, they're coming around the south side.
Mono is so hesitant, and rightly so.
They could switch to mid and just push down a turret, though.
They could. Actually, you see Mandatory Cloud actually edging on towards that. Muffin Cutie making an appearance in mid, too. But right now, Mono realizes, okay, if we go for Dragon, Blitz is right there. If he lands one hook, we're toast. The entire lead, there is Smithy actually going to be the one getting popped up. He also does not have flash, but he's got his ultimate. He will be able to get out. He's swinging his drumsticks as he's actually running through Pentakill Olaf. Mandatory Cloud, though, is not too far behind, throwing some barrels while he can. But Olaf is now back in the fight. Smithy coming on in, but he no longer has the ult. He no longer has Ghost either.
They're going to lose the turret, the Nivea wall perfectly.
Wonderful wall. And the hook down on the Mandatory Cloud. He is toast. Dead before he ever hits the ground. Cruiser to Bruiser. Going straight for Don't Match Me, but he does get the Valkyrie away. One more touch. Paradoxical very close to getting egged, but will not be going down into that state. Nintendo out in front. He wants a rupture, anything a little bit more CC to try to prevent the push, but the ultimate from Nivea will help clear that wave pretty easy. But with everyone from Dynamic in a little bit of a defensive stance, I think Mono could be a little bit more confident to try and attempt number 5, 6, 7 at this dragon right now.
Yeah, they'll be able to take that dragon pretty easily. Nintendo really can't force a fight here because they're all extremely low. He's going to try, though, and Zion Spartan's coming down. Actually, Zion Spartan might be able to do something. I think he's going to go in for this. They're going in for the dragon, trying to get the steal. Nintendo, he doesn't get it. Xmithy, he's able to control it, but Don't Mash Me coming in from the south side, and Cruiser is single-handedly manning up on their team.
Wow.
Nintendo drops, and Nivea comes up as well, but Cruiser's still looking pretty good. He does go down, but actually Zion Spartan in the back line. The body slam, he does exchange, and there's the Gragas ultimate taking down Corki for the double kill.
Very wonderful positioning from Mandatory Cloud. Just the belly slam over the forest wall was perfectly placed, and the ultimate just on its own was able to take out Mash Me.
That's not that bad for Mono. They get the dragon. It's a 3-for-3 exchange, and Nivea's ult is Nivea's passive is also down, so it's I don't know. It's a pretty even exchange, but Mono definitely coming out ahead there.
Yep. Hey man, the net gold gain is always a good thing, especially if you want to keep up on your dragons at this point. You have a 4K gold lead right now. If by some reason Dynamic did end up getting that dragon, it would actually be a very, very much closer game than it is right now. But fortunately enough, though, you do have quite a bit of gold in the right places. You got Gragas, he's actually 1K over up on Anivia right now. You got Olaf, a pretty decent lead over Cho'Gath. Aurelia's a little bit behind, but that last fight, though, you wouldn't really think that Cruiser was. He was tanking like a boss. And you also got Ezreal with a damn nice lead over Ezreal at the moment. Ezreal, damn nice lead over Corki at the moment.
I got you. I know what you mean.
We got it. Athene's and Tyr onto Anivia. You got Gragas. He's building that damage. He's going for the death cap first.
Jax is in danger top, though. Is he going to get out? Yeah,
he'll be
Zion
fine.
Spartan backing off. No ward coverage, but Olaf was still pressuring him some.
Yep.
I mean, both teams are starting to get into their builds. There's a slight gold lead for Mono. That's really going to help them if they can keep that up. Gragas getting hooked. I think he's going to be okay though. He gets the body slam off.
It's forcing out the flash. It's also his ignite is still down too. And if Mandatory Cloud gets hooked again, he is pretty much toast. And with that flash down, I think Dynamic is also a little bit more confident to try and get a push back here in the mid. But look at Ezreal, look at in the end, he was down at bot lane, actually getting a very nice push down onto tier 2 in bot. Cruiser to Bruiser also looking to farm, not quite sure where he wants to go. Jax is going to be pushing on up. He's got a pretty nice, decent push going on here, and he'll be backing. He's got enough to finish that Trinity Force. He's got plenty. He's also picking up some wards too, might as well.
Yeah, so a nice advantage over Aurelia. Aurelia really needs to finish that Trinity Force to be relevant. But,
yes.
I think one of the things that Mono's trying to do with their team, I mean, we talked about how they want to get early advantages, because they have the aggression from Olaf, and they have pretty strong lanes that can push and, kind of move around some. I think their thought is that they're just going to get Olaf and Aurelia tanky enough that they can just, beat a two-man army and just dive into the back line of Dynamic, because, I mean, that's their role. But they want Dynamic to collapse onto Aurelia and Olaf. And maybe Aurelia herself isn't enough to force it, but because they have those two bruisers, they both force that dive. Lulu will help keep them alive, and then by getting them all to clump on top of Aurelia or Olaf, it allows Gragas to, get the follow-up barrels to just instantly win a fight.
Yeah.
And then, Olaf, he'll beat almost anyone in a 1v1. So when they kind of make those organized fights, once Gragas kind of creates that mayhem, then they'll be able to just, jump around and focus different targets.
Yeah, you've seen Mandatory Cloud, though, get hooked quite often, and you see he does immediately melt in these fights if he does get caught. Yep. So, the plan will work, provided the Olaf, provided the Gragas, also the same thing with the Ezreal, provided that neither one of them actually get caught out. But as we've seen before in earlier matches, the Ezreal does fall off late game. Gragas with insufficient farm falls off late game too, but at the very least he's doing okay.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in a farming well enough.
Yeah.
He does go for the Rabadons, and that's really the key point. Like once you finish the Rabadons on Gragas, that's when you're looking to pick up kills, that's when you're looking to control fights, because from then on, you're going to get stronger, but not significantly. And so I don't know, that's going to be the key. Like once he's now done his Rabadons, and then once Aurelia gets her Trinity Force, that's like the timing, or the timing of when they're going to look to be extremely aggressive, try and take some advantages. The only concern is if Dynamic doesn't allow them to. Dynamic can stall off for a long time, with the Anivia, with the Corki, and it really should allow them to try and hold off into that later portion of the game. They can't see their items?
Possible.
Okay, well, hopefully everything's okay there. But I don't know. We'll be able to see what both these teams are trying to do. I think, I don't know, if Don't Mash Me can get into this game, he should be pretty strong. He went with the Bloodthirster first, so Ezreal has a pretty significant lead over him, and that's kind of going to hurt them a little bit right now. But I don't know, it's going to be interesting. I think Corki, they really need to rely a lot on Corki's damage to take down Olaf and Aurelia, because Anivia is not going to do hardly anything to him.
And it's also strange too, Nien actually going for that Infinity Edge first. He's going for that sustain damage. He's not exactly going for a whole lot of burst out up front, which a lot of Ezreals, you'll sometimes see them rush out the Trinity Force first, or at the very least get the Phage first before they actually build into the big damage.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we see Ezreal building into a more standard AD build. You used to see Ezreal go with that. Oh, very close. You used to see Ezreal go with that. The Anivia wall does actually cordon him off for a bit. Pixel very close to going down. They can actually chase this. They have the Gragas barrels. They're able to take him down pretty low. And Smithy should be able to back off, but Don't Mash Me is wearing him down very quickly. One more attack, one more missile or something should be able to do it. The Flash Frost trying to get him off, and he barely survives. Muffin Cutie might not be quite so lucky.
There's the
red
wall.
buff, it's just enough.
Get the shutdown on the streak, on the support of all people. Not something you see very often, the kill streak on a Lulu, but it did happen, and it was ended. Nien shifting on over the wall to escape the Nintendo, and Dynamic recognizing that the support is gone. One of the big linchpins. Smithy, he may get caught out here. He knows he needs to back off immediately because Dynamic's coming on around. Mandatory Cloud also throwing out some barrels just to try and prevent the push, but I think the Anivia push may be a little bit better, just clearing off the wave immediately before he can even get too far outside of the tower.
Yeah, and so going back to the Ezreal thing, like 6 months ago maybe, when Ezreal was first starting to be played, it was a lot more common to see Infinity Edge on him. Everyone used to, I mean, people would complain about the Trinity Force build even. They just didn't think that it was going to have enough damage. But and that's the kind of the concern. Ezreal always struggled to kill those frontline tanks. So having the Infinity Edge, it gives him that sustain damage that he needs in order to take down tanky champions like Jax in particular. Like, they really need him to be able to just work on Jax if he's diving into the back line. But one of the reasons that you would go Trinity Force on Ezreal wasn't because, I mean, it was partially because the poke would work on your Mystic shots, so it really comboed well with him. But a lot of it was because he was really aggressive in the laning phase, and he would use those early items that build into the Trinity Force to win him the lane. With the changes, with the nerf, maybe he's not looking to win lane quite so much, and more so looking to just farm into a standard AD build.
Yeah, and really, it's all the change on the W. The change on the W just hurts his exchanges so much, and we're seeing like how significant it is in these small skirmishes too. It's like, I don't have an attack speed slow anymore. I'm being beaten in damage. I need something a little bit more beefy, and I know we've talked about the question too. It's like, is this the start of the fall off of Ezreal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to really fall off. I think, we'll see some more unusual ADs come into play, but he's still the safest AD carry in the game. And that's really the big strength of him. He's safe in the laning phase, he's safe in team fights. Like, that's never going to fall off, I don't think. I mean, we hadn't seen him in play for a long time, but I think he's still going to be strong enough that he'll be played pretty significantly. Dynamic, they do move down. They're going to go for this dragon. The Ezreal ult's coming in, so it's going to get vision. They actually don't have a lot of damage on it, so it's going to be pretty slow, and Mono should be able to get here in time.
Yeah, this is a ridiculously slow dragon. I'm actually kind of questioning why Dynamic even decided to go on into it. Probably expecting Mashme to show up a little bit sooner than expected. But there is Gragas with the barrel. Nice spread on all of Dynamic, but they quickly re-engage, and Jax picking up the dragon. You got the huge Anivia ult down, blocking everyone's path down onto the ramp, and they all get relatively low. Cruiser to Bruiser popping the ult, goes straight in for Mashme. There's the wild growth, keeping him up, and the ignite, but Cruiser should actually go down. He also got a double kill on Jax there onto the backline, getting very low. Should be able to escape Mandatory Cloud. Muffin Cutie looking to keep everybody away. Glitter is going to be making him safe. Jax gets out somehow.
Yeah, they're barely able to retreat. So Jax, he was able to chase down Ezreal and
we're going
just kill
back
him
just
pretty
to check
quickly.
that out.
Yeah, so right off the bat, Ezreal walked into the Anivia ult, and that's really what set it off, because then Zion Spartan, he was able to chase down both Xmithy and Nien, pick up both of those kills. Gragas trying to hold him back as Nien's trying to wear into him, but it wasn't quite enough. And also, Corki was pretty safe. Aurelia tried to dive in the back line, and just didn't quite do enough damage. Corki was able to kite with their team, and that's the real strength of their team, is they have a lot of damage, but they also have really nice disables to help them kite. And I don't know, if both Jax and Corki are as fed as they are currently, 5-1 and 2 on Jax, that's going to be near impossible for Dynamic to deal with.
2K lead on Jax over Aurelia right now. Corki actually starting to catch up to Ezreal. They're near even at this point. But really, the big problem is Jax. He's getting ridiculously fed, and he's got the Trinity into Guardian Angel.
Ooh, so he's almost unkillable, and that's kind of the big counter to Mono's game plan, because both Olaf and Aurelia, they're going to be really strong at diving into that backline. You saw in particular, Aurelia was almost able to take down Corki with the Lulu ult on. Aurelia is very tanky at this point in the game. Actually, Lulu actually getting caught off. Paradoxical trying to pick it up, can't quite get it. Muffin Cutie protects himself, but. So Aurelia was almost able to take down Corki, but the issue is that Aurelia and Olaf both lose to Jax late game. So yes, they are going to be really tanky and have high base damage, but Jax wins the Bruiser War, and that's going to allow them to continue to have a late game advantage.
Zion Spartan in the middle of the pit. Pixel with the Oracle's pop and heal just to make sure he does not aggro the Baron. Need to be sure to take out that ward. Just to keep Mono guessing at this point in the game. Bolt's gonna be coming back in just a little bit, but you have all of Mono looking to push up here on the mid, and you got great wave clear here from Paradoxical. And in addition to the, he's got the Guardian Angel, he's got a few wards on him too. Jax does. You also got the Glacial Shroud. You got Sho looking to build up into the Frozen Heart too. You got the Athenes and a needlessly large rod on to the Anivia. You already have the man in now.
They're caught out of position.
They are caught on out. Paradoxical has no choice but the flash button. Intended does get the quick kill down on the Olaf. Cruiser Bruiser out in front, looking to deal some damage, but Zion Spartan still has the Guardian Angel proc ready to go. Paradoxical getting very low, evading the shots from Ezreal, will be safe for the time being. And does he still have the egg? He still has the egg even. Dynamic essentially has 2 extra lives. You got Zion Spartan, does meet up with Cruiser to Bruiser, takes him out pretty quick, and that is a quick 3 for free for Dynamic, but they are just all very low.
Well, I think they're going to be able to take this Baron. They're actually not going to go for it. Nien just barely getting out of there. Zion Spartan, he's on the hunt. He's trying to take him down. The wall off. Paradoxical, he is egged, but the Rupture after the silence is going to grab him. Zion Spartan picking up that kill. Now, they're not going to be able to grab Baron because Olaf is back up, so he's going to be able to stop that. Same thing with Gragas, so they're going to want to back off, but it's still a nice gold lead for them.
I thought for a second that Paradoxical, he did not get touched in the egg. He's back in mint condition.
Yeah.
They was like, hey, Bird, tank it for a second. But they won't.
They're going to play
safe.
Gragas can steal. Gragas can wear them down, and then Xmithy, if Gragas can't steal it, Xmithy can just ghost in with his ultimate and get the steal. So it's a dangerous spot for them. Don't Mash Me's pretty low. Zion Spartan's pretty low. The stun will go off a mandatory cloud, but this is going to ruin their GA. He actually gets out just in time to not pop it, but they're kind of low, so they know. Mono knows that they haven't backed yet, and that actually might open up an opportunity for Mono right now, knowing they have a couple of seconds to try and maybe push a tower or something.
Mono knows that Jax hasn't backed yet.
Yes.
They don't know the rest of the team unnecessarily. So
they have to assume that the rest of the team backed, but I'm saying they know Jax is.
They know Jax is weak. They know he's weak at the very least. They had an opportunity if they really wanted to, but they chose not to. They're going to play it safe. Gold now at this point, as we're hitting 30 minutes, is now practically even. And you look at the kills, 15-7. You see where so much of the gold from Mono came from was pushing down pushing down like things like Dragon and the farm, but now with just so many kills back to back to back, Dynamic has put themselves back even into this.
Yeah, no, it's a really nice situation that they find themselves in because they have a really strong late game team, but they know that they also are in control of this point in the game. Jax can tank the Baron easily at this point. Like, Baron's going to hardly do any damage. He has the Vamp Scepter. Ezreal's way out of position. If they force this fight, Dynamic has a huge advantage. The hook into mandatory cloud. He gets the Zonias off, but they're in a terrible spot here.
You got Gragas with the ultimate splitting off everybody, but he still goes down. Going to be the first one in this fight. Cruiser Bruiser looking for stun, slows anything, but does get stunned by the Flash Frost. Going to be going down next. Smithy has no option. option but to throw down the ult just to try and get away.
Oh, the flash
with
stun.
the flash, everyone flashing away, trying to get rid of this whirlwind of death that is Zion Spartan, but he will revive with the Guardian Angel. There's the wall onto Smithy. His ult is done, and Don't Mash Me gonna be grabbing that kill. Again, 3 for free for Dynamic, and all starting off with that hook. Wonderful hook on the Mandatory Cloud. The ult from Lou could not save him. The barrel could not keep everybody away.
Well, Nian was out of position. He was trying to counter the push off in bottom lane, and that really is what started out for them. Zion Spartan, able to chase them down. Like you said, the hook on the Mandatory Cloud. There's the Baron for them. The poke is meaningless now. Gragas, he can't poke hard enough to deal with that Baron. And you already see that, they have a very strong teamfight team, and that was the concern coming into the beginning of this game, was that Dynamic had a superior, teamfight team, and as the game's progressed, I don't know, they've been able to force the right situations for themselves.
And we've talked about poke. We've talked about poke comps before, and what is the best thing to have against a poke comp is the Baron regen.
Yeah, no, it's ideal.
It is ideal. It's so choice. It's so good. So good to have. It's like, oh, that's cute. You're gonna hit me with the barrel. And yeah, it didn't really.
And
do a whole lot.
that's kind of the concern, is how are they going to take down Zion Spartan at this point in time? Because with that Baron regen and how many items he has, how tanky he is, Ezreal is going to have a hard time doing it.
Kill that minion Pixel.
Olaf and Aurelia are going to have a hard time doing it. Yeah, got him.
Got him. Got that hook on that minion. Taught that lizard who's boss.
So it's going to be tough for them to take down Jax. Like it's
near impossible.
It's just tough. And the fact that Anivia can just zone them, Jax doesn't have to be overly aggressive. He can just fight them as they come to him, and bruise and block for Corki.
He could. And the best part too is that the Guardian Angel is actually going to be coming back up as soon as the Baron ends. The timing is just right. About 3 minutes left on the Baron. 3 minutes left until Zion Spartan's
I think
GA
you'd rather it was up now, but
yeah, that would have been nice too. But I think at this point though, you take what you can get. I mean, I guess the gold lead and the Baron buff, is it not enough? Is it just not enough? You have a dragon on top of that too. Don't Mash Me gonna be grabbing that.
And so now Jax pushing up the bottom lane. They could actually decide to split push him because no one can lane against him at this point. He's going to win any split push situation, and they don't have to worry about Gragas clearing the minion waves. That's kind of the concern. They don't want to stall off this Baron right now. So it seems like he is actually going to split push, but they have the opportunity where Jax can push it up to the turret, and then as a team, Dynamic can all just switch down to the bottom lane very quickly. The flash across the wall, almost grabbing Cruiser the Bruiser. He gets the quick flash out of there. That was a really dangerous spot for him, but they're just keeping him penned up under this turret. As Zion Spartan, he's going for the turret. He will back off for a second. Xmithy gets some free damage, but Zion Spartan still is going to win that.
It's a level 18 versus a level 12. What do you think is going to happen? Quite a bit of death. Xmithy popping the ult. He is still ignited right away, but Paradoxal though is actually caught out of position. Is egged. The damage is sufficient to take him out. Unfortunate, but there is the hook though. Muffin Cutie going to get snacked on. Plus a little bit of burst coming from Blitzcrank. That's a kill from Pixel down onto Muffin Cutie. Support.
And it's kind of surprising. Paradoxical trying to go for the kill. He didn't need to. There was no reason for it. They could have just taken the turret, which Jax got, and then they could have transitioned over to a lane. Olaf not dying, but going back to base is basically the same thing for a couple of seconds. So, they're still going to push in. They're tanky enough. They're actually just going to go straight for this turret and grab it. They should be able to grab it pretty easily. So they get that. The hook onto the end, though, that was unexpected.
That was a little unexpected. He tried to shift out, but that was not going to be anything good there.
That was a bonus.
That was a bonus. That wasn't actually. It's like, hey, but buy one turret, get one Ezreal free.
Yeah, but there's so many other clauses, and you read the fine print.
Participation may vary. Not available on Twisted Tree Line.
Even so, really nice job. They're really pulling ahead. 5K gold lead. It's a 5K gold lead for Dynamic right now, and Mono's really struggling, and that was kind of the concern. They needed to get off to an early lead so that they could take advantage of having the double bruiser team, but I don't know, it just wasn't enough.
Yep. Baron buff about to expire. Give it about 30 more seconds, and Zion Spartan will have his Guardian Angel back. So there you go, 38:08 should be when that Baron actually respawns. So be sure to keep an eye onto that one. Intended with that Oracle's clearing out all the coverage, and Olaf a little bit far away from the rest of the team, recognizing that you got some pretty decent pushes going on nearly in all 3 lanes now. Don't Match Me going to be clearing off that bottom wave to help that get
How
bot
much
lane
gold
rolling.
does Jax actually have? Oh, they're engaging mid. Xmithie, he's actually chasing him down, almost able to get Paradoxical. The wall, it does hold him off, but there's the Gragas barrel. Paradoxical going down again. They really can't allow that to happen, but Mono taking advantage of the situation. That's a huge buff for them. I mean, they're going to be able to grab this tower off of it.
Jax is at 12K right now, sitting nearly 4K above his lane opponent. But Nintendo doing his best, getting his scream. There's the pop-up down on Xmithie, but the Lulu ult is not going to be enough to save him. Got Rupture trying to grab in the end, going a little bit too far, but Muffin Cutie, the Polymorph will not be able to save him. Don't Mash Me with the Valkyrie, wants to get aggressive in the end, down to half health already.
Another hook.
And there's the hook. Zoni is by Mandatory Cloud, but he's not going to be going far. He tries to get his belly first out of that, but he will not be living for long.
Yeah, so 3 kills for Don't Mash Me, and they're going to be able to take an inhibitor off of this most likely. Jax is coming up as well. He's just bought. I was kind of wondering because I hadn't seen Jax buy in a while, and he's had the Trinity Force in GA for what seems like forever. But they're going to just tank the turret. Nintendo, he's plenty tanky enough. They're going to be able to take the base turret fairly easily. They have enough time for the inhibitor, so that's going to allow them to just completely take control of this game. I mean, even more so than they already have. Ezreal trying to poke in. He doesn't have anywhere near enough damage right now. Actually, the movement speed, the stun from Jax, he's going to get the hook. Pixel missing the hook, and Cruiser barely able to back out of there. But now they have to watch out because Olaf is here as well. The Cruiser, it seems, is going to go down before he can get there in time.
Xmithie wants damage, he wants something, but he realizes he's not going to be getting a whole lot. Niendo, she's not going to stop him getting a whole bunch of rest, and there's the pop-up and will die before he hits the ground. The ward going to be going down too, made quick work out of that. But Zion Spartan, he's still hungry for more. He's got that Guardian Angel. He doesn't care. He's going to be coming back in just a little bit. You also got Don't Mash Me pushing up top lane, wants to get the minions to touch that tower. Then that one's going to be the next one to fall. And you also got Para in mid, clearing off the wave, throwing down the ultimate.
Yeah, and Dynamic's just going to be able to slowly wear down Mono at this point. I mean, they can pick people off with the Gragas barrel, but that's really their only initiation other than, just running straight at them basically with Aurelia and Olaf. And that's what they're going to look for the most part. Paradoxical, he gets the blue, but there's the Gragas barrel back. Paradoxical getting caught out once again. I don't know if Mandatory Cloud's going to have enough damage though.
Para's going to be coming back in just a second. He will be back, just get a stun. No, will not be enough. Nice. Quick Zonias, but Science Spartan,
no escape.
Wow, there you go. There is the Cutlass. Going to be doing the final blow.
But still, Paradoxical, he's been caught out.
That's twice.
That's 3 times.
3 times.
All 3 of his deaths, he's been caught out of position. And so, it's kind of holding his team back a little bit. But Gragas going down, I think that's an even exchange.
Yeah, AP for AP, maybe at the very least. There's no real net gain from either side. But still, though, you need to be careful, Para. It's one of those in the wrong opportunity, wrong time, engaging for something like Baron, which actually the rest of your team is doing right now. Sorry, you're not going to be getting it on this one. Something at a very critical point if you're pushing down, possibly on one of the remaining inhibitor turrets, could snowball things into a huge turnaround. With a Jax, this Fed not very likely, but that Ezreal will actually find him out. Xmithie, just get the leap, get the slow, get something. He is ulted. He will be moving on rather fast, I might add. But Zion Spartan, again, does not care. He's got the Guardian Angel. He knows he can die once for free at the very least. Puts down the ward, wants to leap onto it, and everyone else from Mono, they are running scared.
Yeah, it's a really dangerous spot for them right now. They know that Jax is just going to clean house. They know Corki's really fed as well. And the Baron, it was a free Baron. There was nothing they could do about it. Jax can take it easily enough. Get that cannon in. He's got it.
Yeah, wreck him. Get him.
Yeah, it's been a slow, long downward spiral from Mono in this game, and they're trying to find their opportunities to try and take advantages and get back into the game. They've needed for a while now to just make some big plays happen, and they haven't really had the opportunities. Another hook almost hitting Mandatory Cloud, and the silence immediately from Nintendo in case it did hit.
Rupture to clear the gap, and there's Zion Spartan actually bounced back into the rest of the team by that Gragas barrel, but still manages to leap strike over the wall to the rest of his team. The Guardian Angel still not popped, and there's Muffin Cutie pulled on over to the edge, but flashes back over immediately. Xmithie silenced, running on, and he just wants some attention from Dynamic at this point. He wants a little bit of damage, he wants an X, he wants a slow, but he will be slowed in response. He has to get out of there, and quick.
Yeah, so fortunately the Jax GA didn't pop for Zion Spartan, but that's kind of stinks for Mono. I mean, that was a great opportunity. They had the Gragas barrel.
That was their best possible initiation.
And that was I don't know, something they've kind of been hoping for a while was to get that Gragas involved, and he hasn't quite been able to make anything happen for them almost the entire game. He's had a couple of pickoffs here or there, but they're slowly pushing back against the inhibitor. They're actually close to letting that inhibitor respawn, so they've been able to hold off almost long enough for that, and the Gragas barrels have been able to clear out the waves, making it difficult for Dynamic to push in. But I wouldn't be surprised if they split push. mMe, he actually goes down in the end, just barely can't pick him up. He doesn't have his ultimate, actually, so mMe is going to be okay. He can heal off of those minions if he likes.
Zion Spartan, though, he still has something to say about it. Smithy actually buying a Guardian Angel for himself, so that's going to be a little bit of a pain. But you got the rest of Dynamic up top lane looking to push. You got the Cutlass going down, actually Gunblade going down to the end, just get him slow just for a little bit. But all killing time to try and get this push down here on top. Top tier 3 is getting very low, but there's the barrel, only sending Nintendo back. You got the pull backwards on Muffin Cutie, but his flash is down from the earlier exchange, and the feast will be enough to kill him. Smithy out in front, gets popped up. He's got his Guardian Angel, there's the proc from that, but the Rupture will be there to follow up, and the shutdown from Ezreal actually down onto Corki while he was in retreat, but still though, that is a 2-for-1 so far in Dynamic's favor, and they are still looking hungry for more.
Yeah, Jax is still alive. He's trying to zone out Nien. Nien's low on mana, so Jax is going to be able to chase him down, but there's the Arcane Shift. He's able to get out of there, so another turret goes down, and now they can take this top inhibitor once Jax comes up. It's going to be a 4v3. The Rupture, it hits the wall onto Mandatory Cloud, trying to get him. Can't quite pick him up as Nintendo's picking. There's the hook. That's the one they wanted, and he will be very close. He just barely gets out of there. But 2 inhibitors down. The mid one respawns, so they get a fresh inhibitor. Both inhibitors on the same timer, and they have enough minions. They could actually consider going for the bottom. It's actually, yeah, they're going to be able to take that down as well.
3 inhibitors down, potentially 3 inhibitors down, all on one push. You still got Muffin Q, you're going to be respawning right now. You got a little bit of time until Smithy actually comes back into the fight. Don't mash me. Did die. He should be coming back soon, but Dynamic should be happy with this, and I can see them actually going on back. They have plenty of objectives. They can just clear out the jungle entirely, take up the dragon, and just make sure that there's nothing left for Mono.Ferus to really farm on except for the super minions pushing on into their base.
Yeah, they're going to be able to just, I mean, really, they probably want to just buy right now. Well, maybe not if they get the hook on the end. Zion Spartan chasing him down, and the barrel, it actually might not help him, but they do get the GA. So that's a nice victory for them. They're going to almost instantly kill Jax. He does barely get out of there. Cruiser the Bruiser trying to follow it up.
Cruiser out in front, getting a little bit slowed, dipping into the Para ult, but Paradox will be soloed out, throwing down the egg. Gragas is in a desperate reach to try and take it out, try and make some scrambled eggs, but Cruiser Bruiser also going to be helping out, taking down the Cho.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push back on them some. They're going to be able to get a turret off of it, but they're going to be very close to losing some Nexus turrets. So Cruiser, he actually backs off, and that really was just a monumental effort just to take what they could. They were able to get a couple of kills out of it, but it was a struggle. They were able to get Paradoxical and Nintendo'd, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough to bring themselves back into this game. They have another couple of minutes left of having all 3 inhibitors down, and all it's going to take is for Dynamic to just slowly push them into their base, let the minions all just surround them, and the minions will do all the work for them.
Now this is kind of reminiscent of Dynamic in their play when they were first starting out, when they were still mono. They would get these huge advantages. They would push on into the base, and they get very close to ending the game, and then little things start to happen. Little deaths here and there. Yeah. Someone gets caught out wayward, and there's still such a huge advantage at this point, but very often have we seen them in the early months end up throwing matches like this.
And that has happened some in the past, but not at this point. No one throws with 3 inhibitors down, or it's at least a very, very rare occurrence.
Right. But we are seeing them. I mean, those last 2 deaths. Yeah. I would actually find and possibly classify as unnecessary. Yes. Because they had such a huge advantage. They could have actually been more than happy with just the 2 inhibs and backed off. They could have actually taken the bot tier 3 tower, just left the inhib up and gone on back out.
And that is a risk sometimes, going for that 3rd inhibitor, just getting a little bit greedy. Sometimes the other team can get a push back as a result of that, but because they have so many outer turrets, they were safe in that situation, so I think they knew they could kind of go for it. But yeah, it is kind of a dangerous spot that they put themselves into, but now we see the slow push. you see the minions just aggregating, and they can try and engage here. Pixel, if he gets a hook, this could set it up.
No hook going to be laying down onto Smithy, but will sufficient harass. Don't mash me. There's the polymorph, and Nian's able to take him out of the fight very early on, but you still have Jax looking to run amok. Nian going to be the next one to go down. There's a shutdown coming in from Nintendo. Zion Spartan hiding behind that ice wall. Muffin being forced to flash out. The hook from Pixel not going to be landing its mark again. Mandatory Cloud behind this wave of minions, but the Nexus turrets are taking way too much damage, and they will be going down. The Nexus is now naked. Smithy off on the side. Hook from Pixel not going to be landing on anything, but Mandatory Cloud wants to make a difference. Will be uppercutted. Get a little bit of CC, forced to use the Zonias, but he should not. Will he? He's actually going to escape from that, but no, the Nexus is taking too much damage, and that is it. Team Dynamic going to be 2-0 against Mono.Ferus. First seed and the free trip to Vegas.
And Mono.Ferus, they've been a really strong team for a while now, and it's kind of surprising when you see them lose in such spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
You know, they may be throwing themselves off into that second game. They have had some issues in the past where, you know, when they fall behind in one game, then, you know, there's a team morale issue. They kind of get, I don't know, down on themselves. And that's kind of a common thing that we've seen with them, you know, on a couple of occasions. I'm wondering if that factored into it in that second game.